Well, welcome back, everyone. And today is October 22nd, 2020. Somebody said it's the year to get 2020 vision on where we're going and where we're at and what's happening. And it has not been uneventful, and I don't need to go over. And the events keep rolling on. So glad that you're here. Gosh, love you guys. It's wonderful to feel your presence and your comments. And just to know that there's a community for meeting from all over the world and doing this technology together, and theory, change theory and chaos theory, has taught us that you never know what's going to make the big change, right? That that's going to affect the whole pattern, be a little peripheral thing, that you don't think is very important, and boom, it just shifts. And I think we're moving into and getting ready for a big shift. It's not getting ready, it's happening as I speaketh, as it were. So today we're going to do a really a great track. Again, I've never said we're going to do a really bad track, but I really think they're all great. That's why they're part of our collection. And there's a few have not made the cut, by the way. So this one is one made by a man whom I have deep respect. And I was going to go visit him. He lives in the UK, Joseph K.O., right before the pandemic shut us down. But he's still there and he's still working. And he is a great talent, a great soul, just a wonderful guy. Go to the website and there's some interviews and conversations we've had. I think you'll love him. But anyway, he's a lot of things. He's a Shakespearean actor. So he has this beautiful voice, and I think it's a lovely accent. And he is a master hypnotist, and this is a licensed thing in the UK, as I understand. So he teaches hypnotism, he conducts it, and so he's also an advanced meditation practitioner on his own right, and creates also, among other things, incredible brain entrainment music. So we had a conversation about this, and we were thinking about what we could do, because we'd already done a journey to the center of the self, and really beautiful track. And it's the big self. Okay. Those moments when all of a sudden we are the universe and it's all very personal. We are it. And that's when the whole game changes, the whole blame game. Everything changes because you are the whole thing. And all you can do is blame yourself. Or give yourself credit. Anyway, it's quite a good experience, and I won't get into that all here, because this is just the introduction. But we were talking about it, and I said, well, what about journey? We already hit the big self experience, but why not the journey of the soul? And and to me, the soul is it's an idea you hear about in in Western philosophy and writings and the Bible, etc. But what are we really talking about? And my experiential hit on it, having explored these interior spaces for a long time, is that it is the deepest place of our individuality, where we are still an individual. It's kind of right, that Venn diagram between the big self and the individual small self. Those things come together. That's the soul. And that's where we find our directions, our values, our missions, perhaps even, past life stuff. There seems to be a lot of evidence and stuff I've experienced that would indicate that is so. And all of that stuff resides there. And it is a place that we reach, when we do meditation and we do the archaeological dig, you go through different levels, and you get to that deep, quiet place where there's still a personal you there, but it's also expanding into the big you, as in the universe. So that's what this is about. And it's important because, as Jesus said, what shall it profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Nothing is the answer. It won't profit you anything. So this is a beautiful track and a beautiful aid to helping us wake up, grow up, clean up, and show up. And I'll say more of that on the other side, and we'll talk about that and the meaning of life. So let's get prepared. Let's open our hearts and our minds, and just let this music and the message and the guidance flow through us and help us to be now the people that we need to be for the now. Thank you.
take a few moments right now to settle back and to settle down inside. Get a sense of sinking down inside yourself. A little bit more with each and every out-breath. Allow your breathing to be smooth and flowing, letting each breath be as smooth as silk. And allow yourself to be present with that which is present. You can allow the muscles of the face to soften, and you can relax the little muscles around the eyes. You can allow the jaw muscles to loosen, and you can allow the shoulders to release. Letting a sense of comfortable heaviness flow down through the arms.
Welcome back, everyone. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. And by the way, that was, I didn't mention it before, but that was primarily theta brainwave with a few spikes of gamma. Which is how, and theta is a very transformational soul level. It's a lot of that in sleep and in visions and in spiritual experiences. And gamma is also associated with the awakened mind states that mind mirror technology shows us when we're in those states. There's a lot of gamma there. Also, Louis had wanted me to thank you for, anyway, for our 10th anniversary. We're ending that celebration. We made it thus far. Thank you all. Thank you, universe. Thank you, God, for giving us meaningful work. I so appreciate it. And yeah, we did the 24-hour streaming thing where we put a bunch of WeAwake tracks together so you could sit there and meditate for 24 hours. Let me know if anybody actually did it for 24. I'd like to hear how that was. And yeah, we had a big sale, which is over when you hear this, sorry. And also we had conversations where we spoke with you guys that have been using this stuff like we have been. And it's such an inspiration just to hear the good that this stuff is doing in the world, and it's really changing lives, you know, just mind blowing. So anyway, thank you. And yeah, so we're talking about the depths of the soul, and we're talking about how it's that the deepest part of the individual, you know, and you go deeper. It's like the Vedic mystics so long ago, thousands and thousands of years ago, they said that Atman is Brahman and Brahman is Atman, and Atman being the deepest part of the human being. Maybe it's the Sanskrit version of the soul, and Brahman being the creator of all universes. Okay, so when you get down to it, thou art that. That's what it says. And so, but there is a part of us that hungers to wake up and to, Jesus said, Sermon on the Mount, he said, blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness. Okay, there's a blessing there. And who puts that hunger and thirst in us? Nobody but our big self. So, you know, we are designed, and it may take a lot of years and it may take a lifetime, but at some point in the journey, you got to get down to the essentials. And I want to mention something that has, I don't know, it's just been such a great learning for me. And I got this from Ken Wilber, who's been such a great teacher, and is not doing too well right now physically. So many challenges over the last 15, 20 years, my God. And he's kept on. So let's send him our love and blessings. But this is a teaching that he gave us, and I have worked with and shared it. And I've often started the conversation. I'm going to give you the meaning of life. Here it is. Okay. People go, you know, that's almost become a joke in the West. The meaning of life. Wow, what can the meaning of life? Well, here it is, and it's not a joke. These 4 things, and I think they all happen. They happen differently for all of us, but very much the same also. And they happen. I don't think they're sequential. They could be, but they're also happen all at the same time, working together. So these are the 4 things that show us what we're here to do. It definitely involves the soul work. And the first one is to wake up. Okay, all this stuff, I awake, enlightenment, have an experience of who and what you are, and always have been and always will be at the deepest, most essential ground of being level. Bang, that's important. Abraham Maslow, the great psychologist, said, without those experiences, you're just not going to be ultimately happy or awake person. That all the great human beings, and he was looking at the exemplars of people that we could really admire, human beings, because he claimed, and it was very true, that Western psychology had come out of studying people that were having problems, sick people, pathological cases. That's where we made our maths from. So he said, let's study some people that seem to be really healthy, and what do they have? Well, they have these peak experiences, where these awakening, enlightening experiences, you get in touch with the all, and it is you. And it is, instead of just being terrifying and overwhelming, there's a great peace and joy and happiness that comes out of it. So we got to wake up. Then we have to grow up. Okay, which grow up means is there are different levels of development. Okay, and it starts at just like a child. You wouldn't say that a 3-week-old infant is the same as an 18-year-old. There's something that's happened in the past 18 years. They've acquired language, ability to be on one's own, make better decisions, physically stronger. All this stuff just happens. Humans, yes, Maria, we do develop as human beings, and we can look back at human history and see how we've evolved to these higher levels of ethics and means and morality. And right now we're working on really higher ones that have ever been available, in which we're able to incorporate all the things that went before historically in our own personal history into something that is bigger, brighter, more inclusive, wiser, and more compassionate. So not only do we have to have these powerful awakening experiences, but we have to stabilize that within a ever-evolving structure, which continues evolving. And then we have to clean up, because clean up your act. You've probably heard that before. And that means, it can mean physically, it can mean your diet, it can mean the people you're hanging out with. If you're hanging around with a bunch of people that are just simply not good for you and your state of growth in your life, you gotta, you've got to surround yourself with people that are going to help you be the best you can be. It also means working through your own personal traumas and your issues, so that they become a pathway to wisdom and compassion, instead of something that we repress and causes us pain and suffering, and we project it on others and causes suffering to other people in the world, which is probably the worst thing, right? That we take our stuff and make others suffer for it. And then the last is show up. Having done all that, having the awakening, getting to the highest levels that we're capable in our own moral and our own individual capacities as human beings, cleaning up our act, working through our trauma, working through our shadow. And all this is collective work to do too. We could say this is a pathway for all of humanity to clean up, grow up, show up, and wake up. Okay, and the last is show up. All right. And in our home in Utah, in our meditation room, I think we have the ox herding pictures. I forget how many of them. I think there's 12 ox herding pictures. Very famous Zen pictures that come from I believe it's the 13th century. But anyway, it just shows the path of an individual where he, there's nothing there. Then he sees the footprints of an ox. And the ox, I reckon, is the ego self. And he goes through this thing. He finds the ox. He trains the ox, and he goes through this experience of just, enlightenment, the great, Zen circle calligraphy, and the Zenis say that you can actually tell somebody's state of spiritual development by the quality of the calligraphy they do. So then there's this big circle. But the last part, you see the happy Buddha self with open arms, going back into town, going back into the marketplace to give his gifts to the world, the bodhisattva vow. And in early Buddhism, the idea was just, hey, just get off the wheel of suffering. I got mine, poof, into the light and bliss of nirvana. And later on, they said, no, that's not quite enough. It needs to be, nobody's saved until we're all saved. Nobody's enlightened until we're all enlightened. Nobody's full until we're all fed. Okay, nobody's loved until we're all loved. Very high, beautiful stuff. So again, all of this stuff, it's not just narcissistic navel gazing, but it's actually helping us to become the people that we need to be and give our gifts to the world. And there's no greater joy and peace that we really know when we're in that zone and we're doing it. That all the struggles and all the stuff that we've been through, and the losses and the gains and the victories and the defeats, have all been to get us ready to become that channel of our best and highest self. So I think that's probably enough for today. Anyway, deeply love you guys and appreciate you. Thank you for sticking with us. And thank you for being here during this meditation. And anyway, just greatly honored, greatly respected, and greatly loved. Thank you.